American dream is dead. What used to be, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, you can support a family of 5 with a milkman or, delivery driver's salary. You can't do that anymore. This idea of the American dream doesn't exist anymore, at least the way that we were taught. And so there are studies that are showing parents with 2 or more kids, 20% of those families, the parents are foregoing an entire meal just so that their kids can eat all. That's 20%, 1 in 5. How is that the American dream? Where is that the successful, thriving nation that I grew up hearing so many great things about? And so I lament the fact that we don't have that anymore, but obviously it's not all pessimism. There's a return. And so the rest of the book is diving into the war between the patriarchies, the social media, how it can be used for good, how it can be used for bad, the destruction with the dating sphere, with dating apps and things of that nature, the necessity of finding good friends, fraternity, the beautifulness, the beauty of marriage, bringing back beauty within the church and within society as a whole. Because when we create art, what we're really doing is we're trying to mirror truth. And in that, if the truth that we're mirroring is ugly, our art is ugly, in which case society is also ugly.
The American dream is debt. Let's talk about it. All of the aspects of the typical American dream is literally debt. Going to that incredible university, the private out-of-state university or the Ivy League university, you have 6 figures of debt. Driving that nice car, you have a 4-figure car note. Having a mortgage, you're locked into a 30-year loan. If you want affordable health insurance or a 401k, you need to work in that 9 to 5. If you don't want to be screwed by the tax people, you need to get married and have kids. The American dream is to be in debt and to have so many dependents that you have no choice but to work and work and work until you literally can't work anymore and have no choice but to retire. That is the American dream. And we're also taught socially to subconsciously look down on people who choose alternative paths. People who are more free than the average person, people who choose not to have children, who choose not to get married, who choose not to work in corporate, people who choose to go to community college or trade school instead of getting, up to 6 figures of debt at a university, people who choose to drive beaters or to buy used cars instead of brand new cars off the lot. Those people are looked down upon because that is not in line with the American dream, which is to get as much debt as you can so that you don't have a choice but to work. It's just something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like, the American dream is literally just you getting into debt. So.
War has been declared against you, your family, your child, your mother. There isn't anything that you have or ever hope to have that they're not planning on taking away. I'm talking about the oligarchy of evil that controls this country. The American dream is over. The American nightmare is here. A group of people that were Masons that had organized to put together a global government upon the ashes of all national sovereignty. Upon the ashes of your nation, we will be enslaved. There's no question about it. It's irreversible. And of course, there is one out. We could incite a revelation. We could have a revolution. But the choice is yours. We must incite that revelation, otherwise we will have a revolution. How can we change it? Bring it down to the street. They have a program.
President George Bush has talked time and time again about a new world order. And this is the best chance to begin to establish the new world order. And that's why the stakes are so high. It's not just Kuwait. It's not just Iraq. It is a question far more fundamental than that. It is a question if, in fact, an allied coalition, 28 nations deploying forces in the Persian Gulf, can in fact establish order there in a very volatile region, which I think that we will. It will have a tremendous impact on future tyrants and dictators that will think about going in and gobbling up a weaker country.
About this, we are the richest country on the planet, one of the richest countries. Why does it look like ass? Like, really think about that for a second. Like, when you're driving, if you're not in like Florida or California or the coast of like Oregon or whatever, it's like this place looks like shit. And we have so much money. Like, I'm thinking of like Europe and Japan and all the architecture like across the world and how beautiful it looks. Why don't we have like rose gold buildings and like, why does the Kmart's and like all of the stores look like shit? Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking in my head, I'm closing my eyes and I can imagine like like look at China, like Shanghai, like the coast, like all those videos you see, that's like no joke, stunning, beautiful, high tech. You would think America would look like that with the amount of money that we have, but it just looks like, ugh, you know what I mean?
I don't know about you, but I miss being like regular sad about the world and not like catastrophically horrified every day by the world. Just me?
This is what our shitty ass healthcare has come to, where my patients need medicine and supplies and their insurance won't cover it, and here I am spending my own money because my patient needs it. And he doesn't have any money, and he can't work. And the insurance won't even cover what he needs. And I'm sad, and I'm sick and tired of it.
You just don't want to admit it, but van life equals housing crisis. This isn't a vibe, and this is not freedom. This is what happens when housing collapses and survival becomes illegal. Millions of us are being pushed to live into vehicles just to survive. And cities are treating us like shit. And for most of us, van life is the last resort. and we're being hunted for it.
I'm about to be homeless in like 2 days. I don't want your pity, or I don't want you to feel bad for me. But what I would like is for anyone to know what it's like to live in your car, and maybe some essentials that I can pick up that's going to be super helpful. I already have like a little porta potty situation, but I'm thinking of like, I don't know, maybe some electrical things that I'll need for like charging stuff. I mean, I have car chargers, but like I really don't want to have my car like on the whole time while I'm doing it. I think my car charges while it's off. Any essentials that you think I might need, anything that will be helpful, even any places that I can go and like park to be safe. I am in California, so if you know the area, specifically Bay Area, that would be helpful. I'm gonna get a gym membership so I can shower and all that stuff. Any places not to go, any don'ts that you can offer, let me know. But I'm a woman, so I just want to feel safe. I want to feel comfortable. Obviously, I'm outside, and I was already thinking about getting some like window covers so that way people can't see in at night. But yeah, I'm in California. If you have any tips, please leave them in the comments.
So I see a whole bunch of people, I don't know if they're real or not, that's why I'm not going to pull the comments, talking about becoming homeless or houseless, however you want to identify it as, and how they're going to choose hospital parking lots because it's safer. And I just want to put this into perspective as a woman in her 50s who lives in an off-road vehicle. You need to throw this ideology of I need to stay safe out the window, because there is absolutely nothing safe about living in a vehicle ever. First of all, the weather. It's about to be over 100 degrees, which means it's going to be probably about 110 in your vehicle. And since most homeless people have a problem with detachment, you're probably hoarding as much stuff as you can from your old life in that vehicle, giving you even less space to live and to breathe. So that is probably the last thing you need to worry about, is where can I sleep that's safe? You need to worry about your health. You need to worry about how are you going to stay hydrated, how are you going to exercise, and how are you going to give yourself the quality of life you deserve? Because just because you're living in your car does not mean you don't deserve things. And if I can tell you one thing you need to master, it is going to be the art of detachment and get rid of all that shit in your car. You don't need it. It doesn't serve you. You're holding on to a life that no longer exists. Get rid of it. It's holding you down. It is going to be so hot. You have no idea what it is like to be homeless when it is hot. So if you want to think about safety, I highly suggest you start thinking about where you're going to live near water and with cooler temperatures. Because driving around the city you became homeless in is a trauma loop. And going from hospital parking lot to hospital parking lot, that's not safety. You're a moving target. That's what you are. And I don't know if a lot of you are in the understanding that being homeless is pretty much a crime in almost every state. Whether it's a crime or not, you are shunned, you are looked down on, the police give you problems, and nobody likes the homeless. So when it comes to, oh, I just want to feel safe, I'm a single woman and living in my car, nobody gives a Nobody gives a You are now homeless.
Miami's a shithole right now. It's a shithole. And if you're a local, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even if you want to pretend that Miami's great and oh, it's the best city, because I know a lot of you locals like to pretend that, but you see it. You see it when you're driving. You drive by houses, small little houses that have 5, 6, 7, 8 cars parked outside, because that's how many people are living there. Maybe even more, because some of them don't have cars. More people are living there than the number of cars that you see. You know that the shit is getting really stinky here. I have a colleague who's in her 50s. She works full time, 6 days a week. Her rent went up 30% in 1 year. She could not absorb that cost, so she had to move. And now, and she found like a little efficiency. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like a converted tool shed that she's living in a converted tool shed in the back of someone's property for super cheap. It's like a little tiny studio, tiny. Like a bed and some shelves. That's what she's got now. A woman in her 50s who works 6 days a week full time and has done so for decades. But she can't afford to live, and now she found out she has cancer. And we work in an industry where there's no PTO. There's no PTO. Yeah, there's no PTO. There's no politician saying that we should have PTO. There's no politician in hell saying that they shouldn't raise the rents 25, 30, 35% in 1 year. And that happened to me too. That happened to me too. My rent went up in 1 year 25%, and there's no way that I could absorb that cost. So I had to move from the apartments that I was living in close to the coast to move in with family so that I could just survive. And at that time, I was working 7 days a week, making well into the six figures. This was almost 3 years ago. I was making well into the six figures, and I had to move back in with family. That's the situation that we're living in right now. The only way that people can survive in Miami is either they have a ton of money, or if they're actually like working for a living, then they have to shack up with multiple roommates, not just one, multiple roommates. Or they have to shack in with family. And the ones that don't have that fall off the grid, i.e. they become homeless, or they have to just leave the state and go find somewhere where they can live. If they're lucky. If they're lucky. And so now when I see people like making these videos, all these creators that are like, oh, Miami, it's paradise. Look at me, look at me, look at me in my bag and my coffee or my shoes. Look at my car, bro. Look at my new car, bro. Yeah, all of those videos, keep making them. Keep making them, please. We want to know everything about your life, down to like what time you go to that coffee shop, where you park your car, right? So that we can figure out how much money you make, because when the shit hits the fan, you know, Miami was an interesting place in the 1980s, and I feel like it's gonna head back there real quick. Real quick. I mean, we're already like 1 foot in the 1980s. And if you don't know what the Miami was like in the 1980s, go look it up. Watch Cocaine Cowboys. Yeah, just crime, drugs, fun, great times.
Make it make sense why I'm paying $500 a week for groceries and necessities. At Walmart, mind you. It wouldn't be much cheaper at Aldi, and I can't get a lot of the things anyway at Aldi. Why? I question every single week, why does it cost this much to live? Grateful beyond words that I can spend that, but like those of you out there living on one income or living on two incomes with no like extra income, no extra streams, and you're trying to buy organic and fresh things for your family, how are you doing it? Like, I do not know, because most people have a mortgage. We don't have a mortgage anymore since we live in our RV, but like, how are you doing it?
The extraordinarily wealthy in this country, I don't think have ever experienced being at a counter at the grocery store trying to figure out, can the $40 I have left in my checking account until Friday get me this gallon of milk for my kid, fill my gas tank to get to work, and give my kid lunch money, because you don't want them to feel the pain, and get the gallon of milk and the bread and the deli meat? Can it do all of that? Because the $40 really can't. And you as the parent know that. And yet a lot of these people will think you're lazy. Well, just work harder. And these people are already maxed out. They already have a master's degree. They have more education than those other people who say, we'll just work harder.
I logged on to studentaid.gov today because my loans are in forbearance, and I figured, hey, maybe while they're in forbearance I can make some extra payments and try and get the principal down. You can't. You have to pay the interest first. So not only do I have $5,000 of accrued interest, like already, the daily interest rate for my loans is $24.89, which means if there's a 31-day month, in order for me to touch any bit of principal on my loans, I have to pay the $5,000, and then I also have to pay over $771.71 for any of my principal to ever be touched.
I didn't have a reason before. I have a reason now. My insurance, just for me, one 44-year-old woman with no medical issues, $370 a paycheck. No. I'm sorry, that's $700 and something a month. I will be putting that into a high yield savings and paying out of pocket. No, you literally have me straight effed up. I was paying like $150. I don't know what happened, but I'm not doing that. What the hell is going on? $370 for one person per paycheck. So 2 times a month I gotta pay $370. No wonder I don't have any money. I'm just done with this life. You're never gonna win. You're never gonna win. But I am definitely canceling that. December 31st will be my last day having insurance until I get on Medicare.
You thought rent increases were bad last year in Chicago. If you thought it was hard to find a rental last year in Chicago and you were blaming landlords, let it be known it's going to get worse. Everyone who owns property just got their property tax assessment from Cook County, and I hear double. People went from $6,000 a year in property taxes to $13,000 a year on a 2-bedroom in Uptown. Yeah, that's not getting passed along to your tenants. So it's going to be rough come spring for renters in Chicago.
Y'all, I got my property tax bill today. This shit is highway robbery. I bought my house back in 2022. When I bought my house, it was a little over $6,000. Then less than 2 years, my property taxes went up to over $10,000. Now I get a bill today. It done went up another $8,080.10. They don't want us to own shit. Matter of fact, we never do. We never own shit because whether your house is paid for in full, if you do not pay your property taxes, you could lose your home. Then I qualified for the homeowner's exemption, right? So what they did was they took it up to $13,443. They took the homeowner's exemption up $2,274.48. Look. $11,169 for this year's property tax. Hold on, let me just stroll up just a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's do the comparison. Look at this shit. Property taxes was just $10,089. Y'all, they taxing the out of me for no goddamn reason.
Santa Monica has lost the freaking plot. You've probably heard of the viral Vons that just opened up at the base of a new apartment building. And maybe you, like me, were curious about how much units in that building cost. There are 230 units, by the way. And I'm shocked, to say the least. It's better if I just show you. Let's start with a studio, 1 bath, shall we? That is going to cost you $4,775. Maybe you're like, listen, I'm an adult. A studio? Can I at least get a 1 bed? Sure. Let's see. That will cost you $6,035. Most adults aren't dying to move into a 1 bed, 1 bath. You want a 2nd bedroom. Okay, let's see. Well, honey, that's going to cost you $9,830. Listen, I want a 3 bed, like a guest bedroom and then maybe 1 bedroom to be an office. Okay. $12,000. The corner 3 bed, 2 bath penthouse terrace. $30,000. For $1,000 a day, you can live in a mediocre part of Santa Monica.
So how have we, the people, allowed this to happen? You know, we paid our taxes to build this road. They ask us for more taxes to build an extra lane. And then once they use our tax money to build that lane, they take it away from us and say, hey, you want to use this lane that you already paid for as a taxpayer? Pay up, buddy. Pay up using your Easy Pass. You know what, guys? This is so wrong. No one's ever in that lane because, you know what? Most Americans are struggling because we pay so much in taxes that they want to tax us again to use an express lane? Unbelievable. Crooks, I say.
A 50-year mortgage loan and a 15-year car loan means your economy is cooked. We're not at the beginning of the end. We are at the end. A guy on TikTok said it more eloquently than I'm saying it, but understand, when the answer to affordability is pay for it even longer, that means you have no way of turning your economy around. That means wages have been stagnant for so long, you can't change anything. It means prices have gone up so high, you can't turn it back. You don't have any options, any course of action to correct the problem. It would take something radical to fix it, and I don't think most Americans would understand what that would even look like. Like, we'd have to literally get rid of our entire economic system, and it would be a complete crash and burn before it got better. But we're going to crash and burn anyway, because 50-year mortgages and 15-year car loans literally mean that you're just going to be paying forever. You're never going to get to retire. You are never going to enjoy the fruits of your labor, and Social Security is on the verge of running out. We're giving more and more jobs to AI. We're allowing jobs to be gotten rid of. We're allowing companies to fire people. We got rid of our energy projects, y'all. It doesn't matter if you like the idea of windmills or solar energy. We don't have other jobs coming into the market. There are not enough jobs to truly supply everyone with a job. We definitely don't have enough manual labor jobs, let alone the electricians, let alone the plumbers, and let alone the construction workers. We just don't have enough of all of those jobs to go around. So if we don't have a response, and our response is simply pay for everything longer, our economy is cooked. The billionaires have done too much to the economy to fix it. They'll continue to make out like bandits, but the rest of us will have nothing to fall back on. And if you really want proof of that, look what happened during the Great Depression. So much buy now, pay later. So many people were using things on credit because everything was good. You know, now everything is not good and we're still using credit. And once it comes that we can't pay, everything falls apart. There'll be no more credit because your credit score is bad. You'll be scraping by because you won't have anything to fall back on. And I think we really need to start considering alternatives in this country.